Hey, what is up, Plus Ultra fam? It is me, Plus Ultraman, and today we have a very special guest here on the channel. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hello everybody, it's Mark the Dragon Ball Daddy. Really excited to be here. I've been following the channel for a long time, and your journey on YouTube, really, from when you used to be in my comment section before you were a big time YouTuber.
It's crazy to see like where I've gotten now, and a lot of people don't understand this, but you are actually a huge reason as to why I have a channel right now. But we will actually talk about that a little later in the podcast. Right now, our major conversation, I say we turn to our what if for today, which was given to us by, I'm going to try and see if I can get the name right because I wrote it down and my handwriting is trash, but it's L. Hagen. And they asked, what if Master Roshi wished for his youth and became a Z fighter? So Mark, how would you set this scenario up?
Now, I think it's really exciting because power scaling Roshi is really hard, because seeing him in the Tournament of Power, he would put in a performance that was beyond anything in like the Z portion or the ball portion. So you'd have to kind of de-power him if you were going to make him young in early events, or him getting young when he was like training Goku. He would probably make Goku a lot stronger. So it's kind of where to power him. Like, where would you have him go young? What portion would you like to see a young Master Roshi?
Personally, I would kind of like to see young Master Roshi, not as immediately as we can get it, because I kind of do want to see Jackie Chun, and maybe have Jackie Chun also have his interactions with Tien, and it could be a catalyst for him to want to do it after he loses his final bout with King Piccolo and he fails to seal him with the Mofuba. Maybe that could be what kind of spurs him on to go ahead and make this transition on to being a more serious fighter and taking his martial arts more seriously, because maybe he feels that Goku and Krillin and Tien and Chaozu can't be the only ones who are protecting the Earth. So maybe you could have him wish to become young during the 3 years between the King Piccolo saga and the Piccolo Jr. saga. I think his power level there was at maximum 180. And getting younger, how much do you think he would increase just by getting younger? I'm not saying any training yet, just getting younger.
I'm trying to think. I think like for the story to work, I would have him just under Goku's level when he fights Piccolo, because I'd have him like enter the tournament as like a surprise entrance, when like to kind of fight Piccolo before Goku does, and everyone's saying, wow, who is this kind of amazing fighter, and then them figuring out it's Master Roshi through seeing his techniques. I think that'd be an awesome way to go about it. And then when he sees Goku beat Piccolo, he figures out there's something a bit different about Goku. Maybe he's not from this earth. Maybe Roshi could kind of figure out the whole Saiyan thing before it happened, because he sees that Goku is still ahead of him, despite him being young again. And this kind of has a student becoming the master, and maybe like he could start to see Goku as an inspiration and try and train to catch Goku, as we see him have that influence on a lot of people. And I think because Master Roshi has so many kind of crazy techniques, he's really like technique based. Maybe even though he's weaker than Goku, he could definitely put up a good fight against him, with like we see when they actually fight the first time, when Goku's just a kid.
I agree, nearly wholeheartedly. A really cool thing about Master Roshi is, I don't know if you can really debunk this, or somebody probably could, because I'm basically just saying this off the top of my head, but when I think of human beings, just normal human beings, Master Roshi has a lot of potential just among normal human beings, because like when he's fighting Goku in Super, and Goku's a Super Saiyan, and Master Roshi has a little tag on his head. I don't know if this moment is canon anymore, but Goku even says he must have been training in the background. He's gotten really strong, and he acknowledges how strong Master Roshi has gotten. Goku's been fighting Golden Frieza and people like that, so it wouldn't make sense for Master Roshi to be considered weak at that point. So it tells me that. Oh, my bad.
You've also got the Tournament of Power. He's the best performing human in the Tournament of Power. Like, he's better than Krillin, Yamcha.
He is by far.
Yamcha wasn't even in it, but yeah, Krillin. My point stands.
I mean, he does way better than Tien, who just basically has to sacrifice himself to get one real knockout.
Yeah, exactly. So if he was young in that and trained all that time, like, he'd be even stronger than what we saw in the Tournament of Power, which kind of upset a lot of fans, because to a lot of people it didn't make sense that he was as strong as he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that in the Tournament of Power, a lot of the characters had to just get power-ups for the sake of having power-ups, so you can have all the fan service moments. I mean, on one hand, I didn't love it, but on the other hand, I loved it just because it was really cool to see Master Roshi and Krillin and Tien and all these characters who haven't been relevant for a really long time come back and be relevant for once in a while. So we're gonna go with this idea that Master Roshi is a little bit under Goku once he enters the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai and he fights Piccolo. Now we're saying that he loses to Piccolo, right? And then he sees Goku defeat King Piccolo, or not King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr., and he's really impressed with Goku, and so could start to seek out Goku for some training just together.
Yeah, that's what I think it would go, and we'd take it from there. He would probably be involved with the fight against Raditz.
I think he
and Raditz
definitely
would probably lose if there was three of them. Like maybe they wouldn't even need Piccolo when Raditz attacks originally to take Gohan. I mean, Roshi was there. So there would be this strong Roshi, there would be Goku, and there would Krillin, who would probably be stronger from training with this Roshi. So maybe the fight could take place sooner against Raditz, which is completely different.
Yes, extremely possible, because one thing we could also do with this idea is, Chi-Chi would probably still step in during the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, and she and Goku would likely still get married, and if that happens, Chi-Chi is likely still going to make Goku, kind of calm down with training, just so he can be more of a family man and stuff like that. So Goku may not be able to train Master Roshi full-time, but I could really see Master Roshi climbing up to the lookout to probably seek training from Kami just because he really wants to take his training more seriously. Now, I don't want to completely change Master Roshi's character and make him not still want to go sit at Kami house and maybe drink a beer and watch some exercise videos. But maybe he would pull back on that a lot more and do a lot more training. And I agree with you, Krillin likely would be stronger. So you could very likely, if they still have their reunion at Kami house, have a stronger Goku, a stronger Master Roshi, a stronger Krillin, and then if you do even have Piccolo step in, because I feel like if Raditz and Piccolo still have the same, kind of interactions with each other, Piccolo is still going to kind of want revenge and want to make sure that this guy doesn't take over the earth before he can. So he would still at least, appear at Kami house to just watch the battle and see how everything goes at the very least. But now it's 3 against, 1, and again, you go back to Master Roshi's crazy techniques. That's also going to be a very big hindrance to Raditz. So I definitely agree with you on Raditz would probably have a lot harder of a time, and he might lose. Now, how do you see them actually defeating Raditz? Like, what's the finishing move on this?
The thing is with Master Roshi is if they were going to lose, there's always the Mafuba to fall back on. Especially now that doesn't kill you. Like, it used to kill you if you used it, but that's kind of been removed.
It's pretty much been retconned at this point. And if you want to argue that, it's still Dragon Ball or it's still Dragon Ball Z, so now it still kills you, we can still go with the idea that, okay, well, this is a younger Master Roshi. He's stronger. We see that Tien can, practice it multiple times and doesn't die from it. It would, or no. Yeah, just power scaling. It makes sense that the stronger you get, the less strain on your body is, so the less likely you are to die. So, and Master Roshi's stronger now, so it's very possible that he could still seal Raditz and be alive afterwards. He might be a little tired, maybe. Or maybe he's bedridden or something, but he's okay and he's alive. So yeah, they definitely have a finishing move in the Mafuba.
And that'd be interesting because Goku would survive, which is kind of going to remove Goku as a threat to Vegeta when they arrive. It'd have to be they would get the warning and they would all have to train with Kami, which Goku has already done, Roshi's already done, so it would be kind of a panic to get to the levels of Nappa and Vegeta.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really serious problem. Now, the only real saving grace the Z Fighters might have in this scenario is we've kind of shown pretty much consistently through canon, if you have a training partner, your gains almost will be a little bit stronger. So if Piccolo hears that the Saiyans are coming, Kami could inform him just because Piccolo is one of the strongest fighters on Earth. He might not be a good guy yet, but he's still one of the biggest and baddest there. He could come into the fray just to get stronger, just so, these Saiyans, these aliens to him, don't come in and take what should be his planet. So maybe Piccolo also decides to train with the Z Fighters just to get stronger. Goku could very likely want to take up training for Gohan. It's possible that, Gohan doesn't even get to do the headbutt against Raditz and show how strong he really is. So Gohan might not even be training at this point. It's really up to you as a writer. I would say that maybe Goku just, wants the extra help, so maybe he does pull Gohan in. Do you think he would pull Gohan in for this?
I think if he showed his potential, I mean, Chi-Chi wouldn't like it, but I've just figured out how I think it would actually go. Because we've said that Roshi and obviously Goku have already trained with Kami. I think Kami
Hyperbolic time chamber.
Yep, he would say, I know you failed as a child, but I think you're ready now, especially with someone who can train with you. And that's what they would do to kind of equalize not having the Kaioken or the Spirit Bomb.
I definitely agree. And while in there, I think a big, change from this timeline is that Master Roshi and Goku have kind of traded places in the student-teacher relationship. But, Master Roshi still has more wisdom. He still has more techniques when you really get down to it. So you could actually see Goku learning a lot of Master Roshi's, like, weird and crazy techniques. Like, his drunken fist style of fighting, his Sleepy Boy technique, which is what he used to paralyze Goku. You can see Goku actually taking on a lot of these really cool techniques. Now, how do you personally feel, like, how strong do you think Master Roshi and Goku get after 1 year in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber?
Oh, the jumps in there are crazy. Like, they're absolutely crazy. But I think for, like, in terms of storytelling for it to work, I think it would just have to equate to exactly the same power jump that Goku had going to King Kai's planet, in the original story. Just because otherwise we don't want them just wiping out Nappa and Vegeta. I think it would be like a similar level because they're starting off weaker and they're going to just be training with each other. There's not going to be like a multiplier added to them. So I think maybe he equals the same level as he is when he's using Kaioken in the original fight.
Yeah, that's not too bad, actually, because we know that King Kai's planet has 10 times Earth's gravity, and the Hyperbolic Time Chamber has 10 times Earth's gravity. So, the gravity portion of that's going to pretty much link up. And if you really want to kind of justify it some more, Goku actually had to spend a lot of his time trying to learn the Kaioken and the Spirit Bomb on the King Kai's planet. So he probably wasn't, working on just powering up, while in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, that's what he and Roshi are going to be really working on, just getting stronger. So it really makes a lot of sense. So, do you think that Master Roshi and Goku would both be at that level, or do you think Goku might be a little higher, a little lower? How do you rank both of them?
I think Goku would probably be higher just because he's a Saiyan.
Makes sense.
I think like Saiyan Advantage would probably step in. But I think Roshi would probably be able to take out Nappa.
Definitely at that point, I'm sure he would. Now, would we still have the same? No, we really wouldn't, because at that point, Goku and Master Roshi can just leave the Hyperbolic Time Chamber after 1 day. And they could actually train with the other Z fighters and start to get them pretty powered up as well.
Yep, and everybody would be present at the arrival of the Saiyans. There'd be no delay. Everyone would be ready to fight.
Yeah, so this could really come down to, Nappa planning the Cybermen and the stronger Z fighters able to take him out. Like maybe Chaozu or Yamcha could basically maybe die if you really want to just go with the same exact beats as in the original story. Maybe that can happen, but this could really come down to Vegeta versus Goku and maybe Master Roshi if he really wants to jump in there with all the Z fighters still there and ready to fight him if they really need to and help Goku. So this is a really dangerous fight for Vegeta.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would probably be Goku would want to fight on. I think we would have Roshi versus Nappa. He'd kind of say, "Look, step back. I'll take Nappa." Now the Cybermen are gone, and Goku versus Vegeta. Like we would have them kind of dynamics, and then if needed, and it probably would be needed, maybe when Vegeta goes Giant Ape, all the Z fighters then step in, and you could have Tien use like the Solar Flare to blind him, and then the tail removed like that way by one of the Z fighters rather than having to be Yajirobe.
That could be a really cool thing. Like, we also have the Solar Flare. Like I said, the Sleepy Boy technique, which is able to, paralyze Goku. In the original story, while using that, that's when Goku actually turns into a Great Ape. So it could kind of be a thing where somebody is holding, Great Ape Vegeta in the Sleepy Boy technique, and then maybe Krillin actually does hit the Destructo Disc in this timeline, and that takes off his tail.
Yeah.
Now, if Vegeta is defeated, he's in the exact same position he is in canon, where he's really beat up, he's trying to crawl to his ship. Do you think somebody tries to kill him? And do you think that, even though Goku might say no, spare him, what do you think Master Roshi's idea of this is? What do you think he does if Goku's saying?
I think he'd still let him go, though. I think he has that respect for Goku, and he has that thing as a warrior that all of our characters kind of have, that where they want to fight again. I mean, I know Krillin was going to kill him, but if you look at Vegeta, Goku, even Piccolo, they always kind of respect their opponent and would probably want the rematch if they had the opportunity, especially because Vegeta's really caused no damage to the planet in this scenario.
Yeah, he got beaten really easy. I agree with you a lot, and another reason I'll say this, that I agree with you, is Master Roshi is shown to want to push his students to their absolute limits. That's why he does the whole Jackie Chun thing. So if he sees that this is an adversary that has, pushed these guys to their absolute limits, then he probably would want to keep Vegeta around. Now, here's another big change about this. If nobody on the Z Fighters side has really died, then they probably wouldn't ever mention the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, there would be no reason to.
In fact, Nappa and Vegeta might not even come for the Dragon Balls. They might have come just to see, how strong this Kakarot or these other Earthlings are and just sell the planet to Frieza. So if they lose, then there's really even no Namek Saga in this timeline.
Yeah, the only way that could be kind of set up is if Vegeta had come to kind of recruit Goku to kind of take down Frieza. Or like when he was injured, he was saying, look, you've got to avenge our people, something like that. Or maybe even Kami could be contacted by the Namekians to kind of say we need help.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be sent out that way.
And if the Dragon Balls were never even mentioned, then I guess Frieza would never even hear about them. So he might not even go to Namek in this timeline. He might just continue to.
He'd probably go to Yadarat.
Yeah, yeah. The Ginyu Force was actually set to go and attack Yardrat. So you might be able to skip the entirety of the Namekian saga, and maybe Vegeta comes back at some point, but you might have to go all the way to the Android saga at some point.
Yeah, which is just crazy.
Huge change to the story. Now the weird thing about this is, even though Master Roshi would be really strong, at some point, just because of how Dragon Ball Z worked, all the humans at some point they just got kind of irrelevant, and it was Goku and Vegeta for the main part. So I feel like at some point in this storyline that does happen. Master Roshi would probably be the strongest human, definitely, just because he's pretty much already that. Not exactly, not numerically, but he's basically the strongest human already in the story. Like you said, he did the best in the tournament of power. Maybe it's just because of the Mafuba and stuff like that, but he still did the best. So I kind of would argue that he could kind of be considered the strongest human, especially in this timeline. But yeah, I feel like at some point, the story gets kind of similar to the main story, just because humans aren't shown to be as relevant as Saiyans are later in the story.
Yeah, they just don't have the potential to kind of keep up. Once Goku hits Super Saiyan, and I'm guessing if he doesn't go to Namek, he would have to hit Super Saiyan against the androids. I mean, the heart virus, would that still be kind of something he contracts as early without going to Namek?
Now, I've always gone on the idea that Goku probably got the heart virus from Yardrat. I thought that's about to be debunked because Vegeta's about to go to Yardrat in the Super Manga, and I'm guessing he will not have the heart virus when he returns. If he does, it's pretty much confirmed that it was from there. If he does not, it's confirmed that Goku got the heart virus just wherever he got it, probably on Earth somewhere. Because I think there are statements that said it was Earthborn virus. I never really agree with that, but whatever. So no, he probably wouldn't have the heart virus in this timeline, which means that even in, I guess there wouldn't be a Future Trunks here, because unless Vegeta, comes back and settles down on Earth with Bulma, Future Trunks isn't really born. So
yeah, there isn't a Trunks yet.
So, with Master Roshi, becoming young again, we've basically ruined the entirety of Dragon Ball. At some point, the androids could step in and maybe kill, Goku and everybody else. Now, Future Trunks might not be alive in this scenario, but the Cell from the third timeline. Now, do you think his timeline might have acted, independently from Future Trunks' timeline and this timeline, and he could still steal a time machine and come back and maybe absorb 17 and 18?
Yeah, well, if it just takes Bulma making the time machine because she just wants to, just out of curiosity, basically.
And if that happens in Cell's here, and we can go off the idea that maybe Goku has found Super Saiyan. It's possible. It's also possible that he doesn't. If Perfect Cell is here, then that's pretty much the end of the story. Earth is probably destroyed. Oh, my bad.
If we got Dr. Gero first, and he killed one of the allies, I think Goku would be at the level to hit Super Saiyan from seeing that happen. If he didn't have the heart virus, he may be a match for Gero. At first, because he would figure out about the absorption techniques. He's not a silly fighter.
Yeah,
the only way he
sense.
could win is using the time chamber again. He can use it the second. He can use it again, and that's the only way that he could win. It would take Goku trying to hit Super Saiyan 2, and it would basically be like the Goku story, unless Gohan has been training all along with them.
It's definitely a possibility. But with this, we don't want to harp on this what if too long. It has been a really fun what if because it's changed so much in the series, and I can tell that I'm a really big Master Roshi fan. I can tell that Mark is a Master Roshi fan, and I'm not gonna speak for him, but I can tell he's a fan of him. But I also want to move on because if you guys don't follow either me or Mark on Twitter, which you likely should, I'm at almighty_dev. Mark, what's your Twitter handle?
At Dragon Ball Dad.
You guys should definitely follow us both on Twitter. We're very fun follows. We post a lot of stuff there. But Mark has recently picked up what is arguably one of the best, not just manga, not just anime, not just, West Eastern stories, like one of the greatest stories in human history, in my very humble opinion. Mark has started to read One Piece. And Mark, how is that going for you?
Well, I finished it in 2 weeks. I caught up completely.
Which is insane, because One Piece is almost at 1,000 chapters.
Yeah, 952 chapters read in 2 weeks, and it has been the best read of my entire life. I absolutely adored every minute of it. And not just that, like, the fan base is really, really awesome. Like, everybody was, like, supportive and joining in on the read. Like, I gained, like, 50 followers on Twitter, and I, like, have a tiny Twitter, so that was, like, the most I've ever grown. It was just great, and I really recommend anybody to check that out. Like, don't be put off by the length. I was for ages. I said, it's too long, but because it was so long, it made it better, because it meant I could read it for longer. I've got, like, depression now that I'm caught up.
Now, I will say this to add on to the don't be scared of the length idea. A lot of people say that in regards to the anime. Don't watch the One Piece anime if you want to get all the way caught with One Piece. You have to read the manga, because with the anime, Mark, I don't know if you've actually like watched the anime, but I know you've seen some of the fights animated, but in the anime with One Piece, you usually have a really long opening, which I love the One Piece openings. Just about everyone, I love each and every One Piece opening. Then they have some type of like introduction, like they'll talk about like what the One Piece is, who Gold Roger was, something like that, and then they have a recap, and all that eats up like a whole 5 minutes of what should be a 22 episode of an anime. And then you have the ending credits, and that eats up like another 30 seconds. So now you're sitting around with like, what is that? That's like 17 minutes of story between that. In 17 minutes of story, you're not getting through many manga chapters. So definitely read the manga if you want to, really catch up with One Piece and really experience the story, because that is definitely the right way. I think Mark definitely went about it the same way. But Mark, why, like, would you say you love One Piece now?
Absolutely. I absolutely adore it. And the reason is it's probably the most emotional manga I've had. Like, it does this great thing where you have these kind of dreamlike settings, but you have like dark real world issues like going on each island they visit. And one minute you're kind of crying, like everybody has such dark backstories, like the people of these islands are really struggling. The next minute you're in hysterics, and then you're like celebrating like the great victories. It's just a real like epic emotional ride. Like, I don't know if you felt the emotion of One Piece, but I think it's one of the most emotional shonens out there.
Oh, dude, I've felt every emotion in One Piece. Just talking about some of them, like off the top of my head, Nami's backstory is like really heart wrenching. And like one of the like real epic moments of One Piece, in my opinion, I still like think about this to this day, is the moment when Nami like fakes that she stabs Usopp, or no, I don't know, one you really loved, the moment that Nami asked for Luffy's help.
Oh yeah, that is a brilliant moment. When you see with Nami, you get like, they kind of set it up like she looks like she may be like betraying them, but you find out that her entire village is being dictated to by Arlong, that her own stepmother was killed because of this to save her, and that she was acting in these kind of betrayal ways to save her own village, but she's like so strong and she's suffered, and this is the first time she kind of got like a family from the Straw Hats, and it's the first time she's been able to ask for help. It's just a complete breakdown. You get a similar thing with Robin, Robin's backstory in her I Want to Live moment.
Yes.
When Robin, she's like always felt like she'd be better off dead, really, because her knowledge could lead to destruction, and like her full village was literally blown up because of the knowledge of the architects that she was involved with. So there's just so many moments like that just cheer emotion. And then you get like amazing action straight afterwards that like resolves so many terrible situations for people. You get that when Doflamingo's beat, you get that when Arlong's beat, you get that at Water 7 with Lucci and the whole CP9 stuff, and every fight has like layers and layers of stuff going on. There's not just the big fight against the boss, there's always like the island's getting bombed, or Sky Pier, the island's going to fall from the sky, and all kinds of stuff at once. Every kind of character is well used and developed, and all have their own fights going on as well. Like it's just greatness, man.
It is. One Piece has some of the best character writing, world building. Like Ichiro Oda is literally a genius. This is not, this isn't me hyping him up. I don't think many people would argue against this. Oda is a genius. Like, this story has been going on for 952 chapters. And Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but at chapter 952, you are still just as invested as you were in chapter 1, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and what the beauty is, like, he foreshadows things like 100, 200, 300 chapters earlier that you would never think of. Like, for instance, you made a whale named Laboon, and you see this is waiting for some pirates. It's waiting for some pirates that abandoned it years ago, and like 100 chapters later, when we're at Thriller Bark, we find out that it was waiting for Brooke, who joins the Straw Hats. And you would never think that something as insignificant as coming across this whale would end up being a major plot device and a major like heartbreaking story.
Exactly, and I think that Laboon was introduced maybe, not even exaggerated, maybe like 200 to 250 chapters before we even got to Thriller Bark or even met Brooke. So this was like a seed set way before that. And I don't think anybody, looking at Brooke really, imagined he has a connection with Laboon, who we met so long ago. So Oda is just a really amazing writer, and it's really, really cool to see his vision just unfold. So, like Mark, I'm a very big advocate for if you are intimidated by One Piece in any way, shape, or form, do not be intimidated. Go watch, read. I don't care how you experience the story. Experience the story because it's so amazing.
Now, yeah, best death in any manga I've ever read as well. I mean, spoiler warning, if you're going to read it, just kind of fast forward this bit. But Ace's death was the most amazing experience ever. Like, it destroyed me. You had the whole prison break, which was just like building and building. Oh my god, they're going to save him. Then he wasn't there, and then you had the big war. Like, the war was incredible with Whitebeard against all the admirals and just everything going off, and they finally freed Ace just for Ace to die in Luffy's hands, and like Luffy just to be crushed.
And I mean, it was the craziest thing because, if you disagree with this, correct me if I'm wrong, but in any other shonen manga, I feel, or at the time of One Piece's real, conception. When it was just Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, when those stories were really going strong, because I don't know exactly when that chapter of Ace's, death came out exactly, not on the top of my head. But do you think there's any other shonen manga that would have had this entire lead up to saving this one character and then killed that character off right when he was just about to be saved? No.
Like, I've read a lot of manga and a lot of shonen particularly, and I was just expecting him to be saved. And I was really excited to see him be saved, especially when you see him, Luffy hit Garp to get past him, his grandfather who was on the Navy, which is just a great family dynamic. But yeah, I thought he was going to be saved. I was absolutely crushed to see him die.
Right, that moment when Luffy cries, I don't know if you've seen the animated moment of it. I cried so hard when I saw that, just because we've never seen that type of raw, negative, I couldn't save him emotion from Luffy. That was amazing to me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I watched it, and they've done a great job on the anime at translating that. They do a great job on all the big emotional moments. I mean, these moments carry on. We even got Whole Cake Island recently when we got Sanji's backstory, and we've known Sanji for 19 years, and you wouldn't expect to be able to learn so much more about a character in an arc so late down the run chapter wise. But man, it expanded the character so much and added so many more layers and developed him so well. And I always look for character development, and if you're still able to continually develop your characters 900 chapters in, then you're on a winner.
Yeah, no, just by default. I mean, Sanji's backstory just instantly, it is very, very well written, almost on the exact same level of Robin's and Nami's and Luffy's backstory isn't too tragic, but I mean, you never know. Something might happen later in the story that might reveal, like, oh, Dragon was going through this when he was, dealing with Luffy and stuff like that. But it is just so amazing that Oda has been able to do this. Now, transitioning from this, Mark, I want to hear about your favorite One Piece moments. Now, and we'll try and leave out... Oh, my bad. But we'll try and leave out some spoilers for the Wano arc, because I know that it's now being animated. A lot of people probably aren't completely caught up with it. Like, Chapter 952 was delayed, so we'll try and leave out as many spoilers as we can. We're two friends talking here. You guys are going to get excited. At some point, we might let something slip. If we do, very, very sorry. Just be warned that it's possible here. But go ahead, man.
Favorite moments? Okay. Luffy versus Usopp.
Oh, man.
That was heartbreaking. Like, over Merry and Merry's funeral after that. Like, that was... Like, I've never cried over a boat. Like, do you know what I'm saying, bro? So many more. Do you want to just do one each? We'll take a turn each.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to the Water 7 arc, off the idea of Usopp and Luffy's fight, go back to the idea of when Sniper King yells... Well, no, when Usopp yells out to Luffy, he takes off the Sniper King mask, which he was basically using to hide his identity from Luffy, because Luffy truly didn't understand. That was Usopp. When he takes off that mask and he basically swallows his own pride as a man and says, I have to help out my friend and make sure he gets out of here, and he yells out to Luffy, that's a pretty underrated moment to me.
Yeah, Usopp's an underrated character, I think. I think he has some great moments.
Definitely is.
He burns the flag at that Robin moment and like pretty much declares war on the government from the Straw Hats, which is an epic moment. Let's think about what my next big epic moment would be. There's too many. Like, it's weird because there's that many. Ring the Bell at Sky Pier when he finally defeats Kami Enroll, and he rings that bell, but it like symbolizes that the people, the natives of Sky Pier, have like finally found their home. It also symbolizes that Noland wasn't a liar, that his family name is cleared. It just symbolizes so much at the climax of like an amazing fight. Like, the fights in One Piece are all pretty damn well done, the big ones.
Going right off that, man, since we're talking about a fight, Luffy defeating Crocodile was one of the first real major victories for Luffy, in my opinion. Up until that point, he had some good fights, but none of them really pushed him as far as his fight with Crocodile did, in my opinion.
No, not to that point. Crocodile was immense, and I love the way it was written that he used his own blood to be able to hurt him.
Oh,
to defeat the,
dude, so good.
Yeah, it's just clever writing. Like, in One Piece, like, the abilities are all so different for each character, because each, like, I don't know if you guys know One Piece, but if you don't, it's all based on the fruit that you've eaten, giving you like a different ability. So you don't ever have like a boring fight. It always comes to like tactics in a lot of ways, unless someone's like a weak character. But against the big villains, there's always a lot of tactics to beating it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can think of a few fights where that doesn't happen exactly, and that's mostly because there's just a huge power gap that Luffy just had to overcome. But everybody knows about this fight now, the Katakuri fight, when Luffy had to keep improving his observation haki. That is...
Oh.
And Rob Lucci versus Luffy used to be my favorite One Piece fight, hands down. That, when I finally like read the Katakuri fight, it was Katakuri all the way.
That was unbelievable, like, because of the respect they gained. And what an amazing technique. Like, his observation haki was so good that he can see into the future. Like, I love that idea. And Luffy had to grow and develop throughout that fight to be able to match this. I really love that fight. That is probably the best fight in One Piece, and I've seen that animated, and that is stunning animated. I mean, the Doflamingo fight was absolutely excellent as well. So much. So I don't think there's a bad fight in terms of major villains. I really don't.
No, none of the major villains have bad fights. In fact, one that I think is kind of underrated, if you go back all the way to the Brautier arc, Luffy versus Don Krieg is actually still one of my favorite fights of One Piece, just because of how Luffy fights in that battle. You know, when Krieg like uses the little like blanket of spikes and Luffy punches him through it. Oh, dude, that was so dope.
Oh yeah, it was. There's just so many moments. Like I loved Sabo being revealed as being alive as well. Like, I think Luffy really needed that after Ace's death. Like, I thought both of his brothers were dead, and then we see Luffy undercover entering that tournament, undercover as Lucy, which I thought was just hilarious. Luffy is really bad, at going undercover. And yeah, that was a great reveal to see that he was alive, and it was good that it's Luffy's other brother from another mother, because they're not really brothers, getting the devil fruit that Ace had. I thought
yes, that was absolutely perfect character writing. Something. Hopefully, you guys can't hear this train that's now behind me. Hopefully, this won't be like too bad for you guys. And kind of going off the idea of Luffy needed that. I think we as an audience needed Sabo to come back, just because at that point, after losing Ace, after the Straw Hats had been completely scattered to the wind, after Luffy and had lost it impaled down, after Whitebeard had lost his life, and I got really attached to Whitebeard as well during the War of the Best. So I mean, we really did need Sabo to come back. Just one little smidgen of just real true positivity. I mean, yeah, we had already had the Straw Hats like reunite and stuff like that, but I still needed that a lot.
Yeah, I agree. There's too much pain. Our Straw Hats have all had more pain than most people, but they bring out so much joy in each other. Like, they're a true family. Like, when you like the slice of life bits when you just see them having a party after a victory, I also love those moments a lot. And Zoro and Sanji just taking the piss out of each other. Like, I think there's some beautiful moments that really, like, those guys mean a lot to each other. Like, the Straw Hats need to be back together fully as often as possible for me. I hate it when they're separated.
They do. The Straw Hats really truly do love each other. And I mean, you just talked about Zoro and Sanji. One of my favorite moments in One Piece of all time, like top 5 all day, is when Zoro takes on all of Luffy's pain from Kuma, and he nearly dies. And the first person to come find him is Sanji. And while he finds Zoro, Sanji expresses real, true concern for Zoro.
Yeah, he does. People get that relationship wrong a lot. Like, people don't understand that it's like that they do genuinely love each other, and it's like kind of a brotherly thing of kind of insulting each other all the time. It's not that they don't care about each other, because a lot of people kind of go, oh, they hate each other, which it's a lot deeper than that.
If I had to give like any kind of example of what their relationship kind of mirrors, it is either Asta and Yuno, because Yuno is usually really, really mean to Asta, just because that's how they've always been with each other. But Yuno loves Asta. Now, I'm not caught up all the way with my Black Clover right now, so don't spoil anything for me. but yeah, that's they don't really just show love constantly, but you know those two love each other as brothers. That's kind of how I've always seen Zoro and Sanji as the story is going on, because you can tell that there's a bond there. Those two know each other really, really well at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you understand more, like, when you see how Sanji's like family treated him as a child. Like, he was always hated and treated as a failure and an outcast. That this kind of relationship with Zoro was kind of something pressure to him, because it's his first kind of like real family relationship that he has with the Straw Hats. They all have that. They all kind of are misfits, aren't they, that needed each other to develop.
Yeah, it's insane. Now, we're just going to move off from One Piece for a second. I know it's very hard to do because One Piece is freaking amazing. But Mark, something I also want to talk about was your journey on YouTube. Like, how long have you had your channel?
I think I started in about 2015, I want to say. I mean, I've got nearly 600 videos on my channel now.
Insanity. And, you know, moving on from that, it's been really cool to see you as, and I hate to use this term just because it always sounds really stupid to me just hearing it, as a small-time, you know, content creator keeping up with the grind. Because I'm sure you can attest to this just by, you know, having friends who might have tried it as well. A lot of people try out YouTube and their first incentive is money. I'm going to make money. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to make money. And what happens is you hit that wall of you're not making the money yet, or you're not making the amount of money that you want to be making, and then you give up and you quit. Like, how many times have you seen that happen personally?
Oh, like 99% of the time that is what happens. I've seen so many people start and leave, but I think you've got to come into YouTube first off. You've got to do it for enjoyment. Like, you've got to really enjoy it. That's what's kept me going. I mean, I've made £8 in 4 years. So that's that. Like, money is not really something that's going to come to everybody. I mean, not a lot of most people don't grow enough to get to that point, and I haven't. But I have absolutely love doing it. And if you love like manga or anime, or if you love films, if you just want to do something because you're passionate about that subject, then YouTube's a great place. Like I've made so many friends. Firstly, like a lot of friends off doing YouTube. I've learnt so much more about the subjects that I enjoy, and it's just given me a lot of joy in my life. I mean, we've all got work, we've all got stresses, and now I've got the kids. I can't like go out and that all the time, but coming home and just relaxing, talking about the stuff I love, just makes me so happy, and that's what's kept me going. You've got to do YouTube for pleasure first, because money may never ever come on YouTube.
That's so true. And like you just said, YouTube in all its overall quality, YouTube is an amazing website. It's an amazing platform. It is able to connect you with a lot of amazing people, from people who might have 1 million subscribers to people that might not even have a channel. It can do a lot of things for you. Personally, I've made a lot of good friends. Just to kind of shout some people out: Diamond Legend, Lytro Storm, Super Sap 89, Dragon Ball Dad, Mono Cool, Smugstick. These people have all become my friends because I started this channel. Now, when I did so, I didn't know for sure I'd get as big as I have now. In fact, this is another little topic I want to talk about today. Mark, and I've said this a few times on my channel, Mark is one of the major inspirations for my channel, because we were talking about this before the podcast really started, trying to like remember the exact context of this. But Mark used to have, Friday night little streams where he would just come in and chill out with everybody. They talk about what ifs, and I'd have some what if ideas for him. And at some point, I had just gave him so many that I came in and he was like, "Hey man, you always have really good ideas. DM me on Twitter so I can like have your ideas written down somewhere."
Kobe.
Sorry, you might just heard somebody else's voice.
I'm sorry.
And at some point you asked me, "Hey man, do you have your own channel?" And I was like, "No." And you gave me the greatest advice, which was just like you just said, don't do it for money, don't do it for any other reason than just having fun. So Mark, is there anybody else you've like really helped out? Aside from me, because I'm probably finishing up my bad, man.
Yeah, you're definitely the success story from that. And do you know, when you told me that, like, it really meant the world to me. Like, I didn't even realize that I played that much of a role. For me, like, anybody who wants to do this, I always encourage to absolutely do it. And I've had like people like Diamond say that they've carried on because of me. I have people say that they take inspiration from me who are much bigger than me too, because I kind of am one of the only people who are doing it every single day for year in year out. I think it's the best thing I've ever heard when someone starts because of me, and it's also beautiful when someone reads a manga because of me. That's my favourite comment. I started this manga because of you. So yeah, I've had kind of a bigger impact than I should have for a channel my size, but I think it's just kind of the positive approach that makes people kind of take it up, because they see me being so happy doing it, so they decide to do it too, I guess.
Yeah, it's having an impact on somebody in any way, shape, or form through a YouTube channel is always a really cool experience. Something Monaco was saying the other day was, our goal with this, and my goal, I'm sure it's probably somewhere in one of your goals, is give somebody a moment where they can just be happy and relax and not have to worry about all the pressures of the world and just chill out. That was a big reason as to starting my channel as well. But you are a huge, push for me, and I can understand why Diamond says what he says, because a lot of you listening to this might not be able to put this in context. What we were just talking about with a lot of people quit YouTube because the money isn't there, or the fame isn't there, or the growth isn't as quick as they want it to be. That is so common. It is so common that it is crazy. There's probably a channel started every second, and out of that, a lot of them quit, not because they're bad, not because they can't make it, because they just don't want to keep grinding through it. And Mark has done that, which is amazing to see.
Yeah, my advice is always make sure it's just stuff you're passionate about. Like, don't do just one thing because you think that's going to make you big. Like, my channel was growing a lot faster when I just did Dragon Ball, but I got a little bit fed up. Even though I love Dragon Ball, but just talking about Dragon Ball all the time took away the enjoyment for me, so I branched out and cover any manga that I like now. That slowed down the growth, but it's kept me doing it for longer because it's made me enjoy it a million times more, that I can just talk about what I want.
Exactly, man. And that was another reason. That was another thing you kind of inspired me to do, is not just be devoted to Dragon Ball. My first video was a Dragon Ball video. Some of my second videos were a Naruto video, because I've always been a huge fan of Naruto. And because of very recently I've been such a huge fan of My Hero Academia, I got into that as well on this channel. So it's been really, really cool to just branch out and not be so locked in. And another big thing that's happened with me is I am 100% certain that a big part of my success is that I wasn't just another Dragon Ball What If maker. You know, not to downplay anybody, because I love all the Dragon Ball What If content that I see right now. I'm very glad the genre has exploded as much as it has, even though some people don't like it as much now because it's just so widespread. I love watching What Ifs. I love hearing other people's ideas. It's fan fiction. I enjoy it. But a big reason as to why I got so big was because I didn't just lock myself into just Dragon Ball. I did more than just that, and it just really helped me out. Mark,
you're like a unique case as well, because a lot of people, like, the algorithm doesn't really like people doing whatever they want. So yeah, you were an example that you can do it. You can talk about different subjects. You can completely be yourself, and that's what YouTube's about. Like, the you in YouTube means you. And that's what I love about your channel. Like, you can completely see like how much you're loving it, and it's really great to see a nice guy like grow. And I'm really like proud that I had something to do with that. Like, it's probably my biggest achievement on YouTube is kind of giving people influence.
Now, that being said, you guys, I don't want that to be Mark's biggest achievement. I want Mark's biggest achievement to be having one of the bigger channels in our little friend group. You know, going from 900 to 900,000. Let's subscribe to Dragon Ball Dad, because again, a lot of what you see on my channel you'll see on his channel. He's a very big inspiration to me. He's a very big reason as to why I have a channel. And something else, if you are to go over and subscribe to him, it'll mean a lot to me, it'll mean a lot to Mark, it'll mean a lot to a lot of people in this community, because I promise you, I am not the only person touched by Dragon Ball Dad. I promise you, I am not. There's tons of people in this community that have talked to this man, have, you know, had a bad day and had that day influenced by him to be more positive. You guys have really got to give something back to him with me, and go subscribe to Dragon Ball Dad. Please, 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 please do it. Something else that happened from that is he'll probably be able to devote more to this. He'll probably be able to make better and better content that you guys might want to see. Mark has always been a man of the people that has done a lot for, you know, just showing people what they really want to. So that's one of my requests here. And another request I have for you guys is, like me and Mark were saying, if you have not yet, go read, watch, experience One Piece in some way, shape, or form. So, Mark, I think that'll do it for us, man. Do you have anything to say for the, you know, the closing off here? I'll give you the floor here, man.
Just go out and really, really enjoy yourselves, people. Go and read some manga. Go and be inspired by it, and just be happy. Do what makes you happy. That's always what I like to say, whatever that may be. And if people put you down for it, just ignore them. It's normally jealousy. People are normally jealous to see people who have happiness when they don't. Like, you've got to follow your goals and be true to yourself, people.
I mean, that's 100% true. It is, and that's the exact same advice that Dragon Ball Dad gave to me when I started my channel. So hopefully from this we get some more, you know, Plus Ultraman success stories out there. Hopefully from this we get some more One Piece fans out there, man. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for us today. As always, please take care of yourselves. Eat right, do healthy things, sleep right. Also, shout out to my patrons. Really do appreciate you guys for helping the channel out directly. And as always, go beyond Plus Ultra. Mark, do you have anything to sign off with, my guy?
I lost signal completely there. I guess we're saying bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So see you guys next time.